Today's labor market is characterized by educated individuals who lack skill relevant to their careers. The employer will have spent more time and money to enable them to gain skills relevant to their job placements, without which they will not be effective and productive. If you are building a house in Eldoret and ask for a proficient plumber, I guarantee you, you will not get. Technical skill is the way to go. Patrick Lumumba, and allow me to quote him, giving a lecture in one of the universities, said that this country has educated many civil engineers. At Nairobi University, the Faculty of Civil Engineering has been there for years. But I want to believe that half of the contract, in fact, 3/4 of the contract of making roads in this country are done by Chinese. The School of Medicine has been there for many years, many years. We have professors, some of the best in the world. But trust me, if you get to hear somebody is a cancer patient, my brother Ojwang, the next destination is India. When we had the ICC, some of our Kenyans were taken to ICC. We looked for the Queen's Counsel. Yet the School of Law has been there for years. This country has to produce its own, and it has to produce the best. This should be a country where the rest of Africa should be coming to shop for skill. And strange enough, if you go to the roads, some of the people supervising huge Chinese, the contracts that are done by Chinese are most likely technical diploma students. Just like the director had quoted, the World Bank in their recent report on the Kenyan education system highlighted their concerns on the quality of training in education institutions. The caliber of students we are graduating each year lack skills that will help the country achieve the Millennium Development Goals and attain Kenya Vision 2030. Let us produce graduates who are packaged with skill that will enable them to compete with their counterparts in the global market. As employers, we encounter graduates of computer science who cannot even start or maintain or repair a computer. As we forge forwards in the training and capacity development, Alphax is and will continue to focus on skill development in line with TAVETA guidelines and the expected standards. The other day when our president wanted a cake for I think it was his son, do you know where he went to get a cake? He went all the way to Githurai. That's where he got a gentleman who, unfortunately I cannot remember his name right now, but he was interviewed on TV. He's actually a D student who dropped out of school. And he began to pursue hospitality. If the president today wants a cake, you can be 100% sure he won't come to the University School of Catering. He'll go to this gentleman because he's good. We have media We have media graduates here. File that paper of yours after this graduation. Develop your skill. Make sure you are good. And if you're good, media stations, the country will shop for you. Work on your voice, work on your camera skill, work on your writing skills. Make sure you sharpen them. And if you're good, people will shop for you. Therefore, our vision is to produce formidable workforce that will be the source of change in Kenya and Africa and at large. And for over 19 years of this endeavor, we have achieved this vision. We can proudly state today that those we have previously graduated are now occupying key positions in ICT, media, business, and hospitality sector. Allow me to finish by talking about, just 5 minutes, 3 minutes, talking about the state of our country. And I'll be done. I keep on thinking about this nation, and sometimes I lose sleep. I'm not a politician, but I know when we as a nation are making progress or not making progress. Many times when I engage our friends about our country, all they tell me is, oh, Jubilee government, Jubilee government, Jubilee government, Jubilee government. And many times we have a lot of debates. And I tell them the problem in our country is not Jubilee government. The problem in our country is the Kenyan. It is you and me. This country is tearing apart because of greed. And Kenyans have turned into greedy animals. We are tearing our country apart. And because of greed, we breed corruption. And when I sleep, I wonder about our children. I wonder about your children, if you're not married here. Because one day you'll be old and you'll have to go. One day I'll be old. I'm now approaching 50. I'm 47 years old. 10 years from now I'll be 67. 20 years I'll be 77. And I told God, if I get to 90, please get me out of Kenya. But I shudder when I begin to think about the Kenya my son, my daughter, my grandchildren will live in. Why do I shudder? Because there's so much greed in our country. There's so much corruption in our country. And the corruption is not just in government. The corruption sweeps across all the sectors, right from church all the way to government. And Kenya is a society where the corrupt chase the corrupt. It's a society where the greedy chase the greedy. The thing is, why are you eating when I'm here? We have changed governments. We changed from Moi's government. We gave Kibaki. We still saw corruption. We've moved from Kibaki. We are in Jubilee government. We still see corruption. And there are Kenyans who think the solution for this country is to change government. It's not to change government. It's to change yourself as a Kenyan. Africa is a beautiful continent for us who have traveled outside. I was sitting with somebody yesterday, the day before yesterday, from Boston in the US, and I asked him, why are you here? He said it's because there's snow, and so we can't leave. We have to look for places. We do not have snow. We have the best climate in Africa, the best climate in Kenya, the best climate in Eldoret. And so we have a beautiful continent, and I've said this many times. The problem in Africa is not resource, because Africa is the richest continent in the world in terms of resources. The biggest problem we have in Africa is leadership and the African person himself. Half of Nigeria is in darkness because there are corrupt individuals who have to import generators. The president has a huge work to do, yet Nigeria produces oil, one of the biggest oil producers in Africa. I hope that our graduates from Alphax College, it's not just about operating a camera, it's not just about editing, it's not just about going to manage a good hotel, it's not just about, sitting in a big oval office and saying you're an accountant, but it's about, if corruption presents itself on the table, you have the ability to say no. Because you'll be tested. We will see you 5, 10, 20 years from now. And you can be sure we'll dissociate ourselves with you if we know you're a CS and you're buying certain things at exorbitant prices. We'll dissociate ourselves with you. We will say that was never our student. We need to build our country. We need to build our nation. We need to be debriefed out of tribalism and realize that the cake of this country is huge and everybody has a stake in it. We need to be patriotic enough to love our country. I'm talking to us graduates because I know you will go out there. Love your country. Work for your country. And God will richly bless you. Let us say no to corruption in this country. Whether it's in a matatu, whether it's in a hospital, whether you're looking for a tender, whether it's in church, I think we need to all have one voice and say no to corruption. We should say no to greed. Don't judge me by where I come from. Judge me by the contents of my heart. And so I've taken time to say this to us, because I think it's important. Alphax College is the only college. I wish we had any county government here, but I'm told they all went to Kisumu. They have a function because I invited a number of them. And I wanted to say this statement in front of them. It's the only college in this town that does not receive CDF funds for bursary. And the reason why we do not receive CDF funds for bursary from our neighboring counties is because we are not recognized. Yet I know there are many colleges out there, some which have 2, 3, 4, 5 students, and they are channels and conduits of CDF funds. And you can quote me for that. You can quote me because I want to stand and say no to corruption. You can ask the principal. I don't remember the last time. We received CDF funds from as far as Turkana. But I don't remember seeing a check from any of the constituencies around. Yet we have many students here that come from around. and we are passionate to educate you. Therefore, as I finish, I want to wish you well. I pray when you go out there, I repeat again, work on your skill. Don't just be mesmerized by acquiring papers. Work on your skill. And God will bless you. I want to wish you well. I promise you we'll pray for you. And when you succeed and get to paradise, please remember us. God bless you.
Junior Red Band.